So my name's Stewart CHapman. I have been working in the building industry for about 45 years, and it's the only job I've ever done since I left school. So I started off as a builder's labourer straight from school, making sure that the lads were all got everything they needed in the way of tea, coffee, and in those days you went to the chip shop to get their lunches and to the pie shop. I then became an apprentice, and I did my apprenticeship in joinery. And from then I worked on various different companies, from working on site with joinery works, shop fitting, and then self-employed doing kind of kitchens, anything really that paid the bills. First experience has been recently when we've done the Portland Inn project, which is a project which we won as a company, and we started working with, and part of their funding was to work with sustainable materials. So when I knew this, I started looking into it a little bit more to try and find out a bit more, do a bit of research, and kind of found out there's a lot more sustainable material out there than we actually realised. I was on the internet nearly every night for about 6 months trying to find out what the different things were. So I hadn't heard of Pavex fiberwood. I knew of hemp. In fact, if I'm honest, I think hemp was the only one that I'd really ever heard about, because that was an older product. But I had to really start from scratch again. I knew everything there was to know about what we would call normal insulations that we use all the time in our buildings, in our cavities and in our floors and roofs. But I hadn't had any experience in the natural stuff at all, so I had to really start again. So when we were on the construction site, we found them a lot easier to work with, a lot more cleaner to work with, and that just like a general ease of the materials really. The difference, the main one that we've used is insulation. So the difference was that we could cut it easily with a saw, but we didn't have to wear goggles, we didn't have to wear masks, we didn't have to wear gloves, we didn't have to be overalls on, and then we could actually finish the work and get out of our carry on with in our normal clothes and not itch like mad, or have to go and have a shower or a bath or something like that to get it all off us. And so when we started handling, there was no change really. It was just a lot easier to use than the actual than the other stuff. There was an ease of using them in that you could carry them around a lot easier. You didn't have quick bolt rolls, and you didn't have to cut a roll of insulation up into thirds to put it in between floor joists. You could just pick out a board that was already 400 mil wide and just was slot into a joist. So that made it easier. We don't have to have so many tools. You've got a knife, and that's more or less it. So it does make our lives a lot easier. So when we started looking at using sustainable materials, the guys we work with were really kind of against it a little bit, because they just felt that it wouldn't do the job properly, and that it would be harder work. And in fact, actually, it's a lot easier work. We can get a lot more work done, and the guys are happy to go home clean and tidy and feeling a bit better about themselves. Well, having used them now and having the experience, I'm hoping it's going to be a lot easier, because when we meet with clients, we've got that first-hand knowledge of how to use those materials, and we can show them, hopefully, by the work that we've done in showing them photos and stuff like that, that we can actually show a lot how better it is to work with them. There will be an economic advantage because we're ahead of the game, because we've used it. We'll know how to process it, how to work with it, and how to install it properly. So hopefully we'll be there in front of everybody else. I believe that the world of building is moving incredibly fast and moving forward and moving in a sustainable way. So we need to know what we need to know what we're doing.